Hello, and welcome to the Quarterly Romance Book Club. My name is Desirai, aka Libri Labra. You're on my channel, and I'm here with my friend Chloe from Brunette Bibliophile. And every quarter, we decide to read some kind of romance book because that is our favorite genre. And we wanted to get more of it and be able to discuss it and stuff. And so this time around, Chloe selected Three Kisses, One Midnight by three different authors. It's basically three shorts connecting stories. And one of the authors is Roshani Chokshi, Evelyn Skye, and then Sanjay Menon. So Chloe, do you want to summarize the book?
Okay. Now, I want your opinion on this because I'm just going to read the synopsis. Does the synopsis sound like it's three short stories? Because
it didn't. I remember being like, because we were like, well, it's three authors. How does that work? Is it like a collection of stories? But go ahead, read the synopsis.
Okay. The town of Moonridge was founded 400 years ago, and everyone born and raised there knows the legend of the young woman who perished at the stroke of 12 that very same night, losing the life she was set to embark on with her dearest love. Every century since, one day a year, the Lady of Moonridge descends from the stars to walk among the townsfolk, conjuring an aura upon those willing to follow their heart's desires. To summon joy and love in another's soul for a connection that makes two people whole, for laughter and a smile that one can never miss, sealed before the midnight with a true-hearted kiss. This year at Moonridge High, a group of friends known as the Coven will weave art, science, and magic during a masquerade ball unlike any other. Ani, True, and Ash believe everything is in alignment to bring them the affection, acceptance, and healing that can only come from romance, with a little help from Oni's grandmother's love potion. But nothing is as simple as it first seems, and as midnight approaches, the Coven learn that it will take more than a spell to recognize those who offer their love and to embrace all the magic that follows. That doesn't sound like three novellas.
No, it doesn't. But I would say they were still pretty well woven together. Like there was a decent amount of overlap. It didn't feel too detached. Mm-hmm. So do you want to talk about the stories in order? Do you have a favorite story out of the three?
Yeah, we can talk about them in order. My favorite one though was the last one, I think, and that's probably because I'm most familiar with Sanjay Menon's writing. So that's probably why it was my favorite one. And then the first one was probably my second favorite.
I really liked the first one because the main character is Filipino. And so she was talking about her Lola, her grandmother, and I just liked hearing about the Filipino elements that were incorporated into the story, and about the witchy magic and just Oni's love for her grandmother. I thought it was really sweet, and also the fact that the first and the third story kind of had surprising love interests, in the sense where there wasn't a set target like the middle one, because Ash totally had his eyes on Cassidy, and that was the whole thing.
Yep.
But I liked that in the first story it was kind of like a love to hate a little bit, because she really didn't. I forget
the love.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I forgot what his name was. The guy that she didn't like.
I don't have the book in front of me, so I'm not sure. I had to return it to the library. It starts with a B. It was something like Byron or something like that.
It was Byron.
Boom. Got it.
So, Oni had her grandmother's grimoire, and a letter falls out, and she ends up with this love potion. And it seemed like the love potion was all across the stories. So that was that was cute. But the love potion felt a little bit different than other love potions that we know. I think in like other stories, a love potion sometimes like forces the other person to fall in love,
Mhm.
even though they may not to. Where this seemed more like a, I think they described it as just like solidifying the bond.
Yeah,
So
like there has to be some like little bit of attraction there.
yeah. So, but I was reading from these authors, all of them for the first time, and I enjoyed each of the stories, and they had very similar writing styles. So,
Yeah.
had I not been told it was 3 different authors, I don't think I would have guessed that or felt that or anything like that.
Yeah, I was surprised at how much I got the similar writing style. The only person I hadn't read from before was Evelyn Skye, but even what I read from Roshani Chokshi was a short like novella kind of thing, but it did feel very cohesive throughout the story. And I think you have an advantage of being somebody who has not read any of the work before, because you got like a little taste of each of their writing before, like if you wanted to read one of their books.
Yeah, I have some of Roshani Chokski's stuff, so I definitely want. Well, I have Sanjay Menon stuff too, so I want to check it all out. Do you, like? How did you find out about this?
So I'm part of Sanjay
street
Menon's
team.
street team, yeah, and she was talking about it with the street team while it was in the works. So I knew that it was coming eventually. I just didn't realize that it was coming out so soon, because I feel like I heard her start talking about it like probably sometime last year, like early last year. And I didn't realize it was coming out so soon. And now here we are.
I mean, it's definitely a good fall, October spooky witchy book. There was something else that I was going to ask that now is slipping my mind.
Well, while you think about that, I will say that I definitely agree. It was like it was the right time to read it. Perfect time to read it. It really worked with all those autumnal vibes that I've been feeling. So it was a good time.
I don't know if I said, but it's a young adult. And you and I have discussed previously that we're trying to figure out if we're falling out of love with young adult, or if it's just the young adult books that we've been picking up or whatever. And I know that like I had totally forgotten that this was young adult, and then I started reading it and I was like, it's young adult.
I think next year we just need to read all adult for at least for this.
Yeah, let's do that. but it was still super cute. And you saying that the third story was your favorite, I really felt that one. That one really resonated with me, because I can relate to True, and I know what it's like to date someone who doesn't really appreciate who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. And so her ex-boyfriend Bradley used to mock her interests, and to me that's just a very relatable thing. It's unfortunately I've been in that toxic relationship, so I really understand what she was going through there. And so it's always so nice when you finally do find the person that's like, you like astronomy, that's awesome, or whatever it is that you nerd out about. So so that one was super relatable, I thought.
And I can also appreciate that True, out of all 3 characters, True was the one that was more like science-y, so she brought like a level of realism to the witchiness, if you will.
Yeah, and I think it was funny that she dressed up as Marie Curie, only because we had just read Love on the Brain, and Marie Curie was such a big part of that.
Yes.
I feel like Marie Curie has been coming up in a lot of the things I've been picking up lately. Mm-hmm. But the story they were all like interesting, but I don't think like that third story may have been the only one where I really heard a lot from the parents.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, at the beginning of the first one too, right?
oh
Because
yeah, right. I forget what her mom's name was, but yeah, because her mom was like planning a party or something. So yeah, I guess there were still parents in the stories here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but it seemed like True's parents were very involved, or maybe it was just memorable because they were kind of embarrassing her at one point. But it was just nice to see how much they cared about her and how aware they were of Bradley's influence on her and how not great of a boyfriend he was. Because I know personally for me growing up, like growing up with my godparents who were way older, they wouldn't have known the ins and out of my relationship quite that closely. So it was just nice to see how much they cared about her and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That parental involvement in young adult.
What did you think of the teachers?
Oh my gosh, was it the mayor or wait, there, hold on. One was like a mayor and
Yeah,
the
I
other
think
one
you're
was
right.
like a teacher, right?
Yeah.
The mayor was hilarious. And then because I love that they're like, I guess, husbands.
Mm-hmm.
And then the teacher was just like, I just want to go home. I don't want to be a part of this. I love that. They were probably like the best part.
They were named kind of ironically, right? Because Mr. Brightside was the one that was more, weren't they calling him like the Prince of Darkness or whatever?
What was the mayor's name though? I can't remember.
Grimjoy. So it was Brightside and Grimjoy. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's funny. I didn't even pick up on that until you just said that.
So I was like, okay. But I think the thing with the masks was kind of interesting. You know, I know they wanted to make Ash artsy and stuff. So that was a good way to kind of make that connection, because I can't say that I've read too much about artists making masks in books and stuff. So I think it felt a little weird in some parts because of the way he was being encouraged after Cassidy had said no. I was like, the girl said no. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we? Yeah. I was like, this is weird. Why is this male instructor telling you to ask her again?
He's like, I know things.
There was, did you highlight anything? Or you said you had the library book. So.
Yeah.
Was there any like super memorable lines for you? Because I was listening to it in the car with John, and I know there was like one line where me and him both opened our eyes like, whoa.
I don't think I have any particular line that stood out, just because I would need it like in front of me to go back. What was the one that you guys were?
I highlighted. It was kind of random, but it was just like really funny. It was like, wow. Let me see if we can find this. Okay. So it was in the third story, and True was telling Orion what his name was, her ex-boyfriend's name was, which was Bradley. And so he's like, Bradley? Orion did a theatrical shudder. Ugh, I hate Brads. They're just Chads earlier in the alphabet.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one. That was funny.
And then, like, John was like, wow.
Damn.
I wasn't expecting that, but I did think that was funny.
Can I also just say that I hate the name Orion? I don't know why. I don't know.
Because, like, for mythological purposes, like, just
like I get it. You gotta be different, but
did you read? And I might just be like mixing memories. That Cuban Girl's Guide to. You didn't?
No.
Why do I think you read that?
I don't know.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I felt like we talked about it. All right.
Is there an Orion in that story too?
I think there was. I think there was. So I feel like I've read a couple books with the main character named Orion. but her love for astronomy, I guess. But in the third story, they had said something about Oni's prediction. What story did that happen in? Because I don't remember the original prediction.
I was gonna ask you what was her prediction again, because I don't remember.
She said, well, I don't know how many predictions she made, because I feel like I missed whatever the prediction thing was that happened. But in the third story, True's questioning whether she's meant to be alone or not. And then I guess she sees Orion with no shirt on, and he has a moon tattoo in the center of his chest. And so the prediction, like, yeah. The prediction that Oni had made was like, your true love has a moon on his chest, or something like that. The moon hangs on his chest.
I mean, that sounds good to me, I guess.
So I wasn't sure what other predictions she had made. If she had said something to Ash, or if that was in the first story that it came up and then came back again in the last story.
I feel like that sounds pretty likely, because then it really like connects the stories even more.
I didn't know True was a girl until Ash said something like, "Oh, they're like my sisters," and I was like, "What?"
I mean, I didn't know Ash was a guy until I don't even know when.
That's funny. He was so shy.
Yes. That stood out the most to me, I feel like, in the beginning of his story.
Do you feel that's part of why it was a little less memorable?
Maybe. I really don't. I don't understand why I don't remember it, because I'm trying to think back to like, what was I doing? But that one just did not stick at all for me. I don't know why. I don't know.
I think the drama in that one was just less. Yeah. Like in the first story, she has this guy who she doesn't really like, and she's trying to make the love potion for someone else, and then he ends up just drinking it. How upsetting is that? Like, you go through all this trouble
another one now.
To get all the ingredients, and then someone just comes over and drinks it.
They're like, delicious.
That's, man. The mention of the painting, I don't remember who the painter was now, but I know the name of the painting was like The Kiss. Whenever I read a book that has like this painting I've never heard of in it, I'm just always curious, like, do authors just go searching for a painting? They're like, I need a painting, so let me put this one in here. Or like, if they just have something that's like super memorable to them and that's what they work into the story. But did you happen to like look up what it looks like?
No. Was I supposed to?
I mean,
wait, is it a real painting?
Curious. Yeah. Hold on. I looked it up. Let me see if I can like text it to you just so you can see it. It isn't great. I don't think it's like the best.
It's not great.
Like,
is it yellow?
It kind of, yeah.
Yeah, text it to me so I make sure I'm looking at the right one. Because currently the one I'm looking at, I don't like.
You kind of have to zoom in to like see what's happening in the painting.
Okay, yeah, we are looking at the same thing. There's like, I don't understand.
It's, it's got its own style. Let me see.
His neck is like bent at such an angle.
But like, the reason why I looked it up was because he was making masks based on, being inspired by this painting. And they were describing what his mask looks like and what the masks that he was making for Cassidy kind of looked like. So I was curious as to what the painting looked like. So I guess her mask kind of had like flowers on it, and his had the yellow and the black boxes and whatever.
You know what really stands out to me and I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but the like dummy where Mr. Brightside was like, if you
Oh,
brush its hair, you'll get
Winona.
a wish. Yes.
I forget what her full name. It was like Winona something. That was really weird.
Yes, but I loved it. If you brush its hair, you'll get your wish by midnight.
It was just super creepy. And
Yeah,
like
I know.
when they first saw it, they were like, "Is that a dead body?" And he was like, "It's mine. Don't touch it."
It's fine. It's like a possessed doll.
Is what it sounded like. But it was like paper mache, but really, really old with real human hair and
Ew.
potentially real human teeth, is what it said.
Ew. It was just, it was too weird.
But the fact that like Bradley wanted to steal that, and like I didn't get what, like, because she had all these like accessories and trinkets that they were like finding. I think it was in that last story is where they were on the hunt to figure out who stole Winona.
It's so weird. And then it's like, because this is like a party, and the teacher is like, I'm tasking you with watching this doll for until midnight or whatever. It's like, why?
Based on the synopsis, I feel like there wasn't enough mention of the lady of, like, I know she pops up like briefly in each story, but
I don't think she was there that much.
Because the synopsis almost makes it sound like it's all about her and her love and like, yeah. So
yeah, no, I didn't think that she was there that much. Like you see her mentioned in passing, but the synopsis really like puts a focus on her, and I don't think that it was needed.
I also had to look up what Sadie Hawkins' dance was because I didn't.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't. I know that I've heard it probably from like watching different TV shows and stuff, but I didn't know that it was just a dance where like the girls ask the guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's more popular in the South than it is up north or what, but I had never. I didn't know.
I don't think I ever had one in school. I mean, I don't know. Why is it called Sadie Hawkins though? That's what I'm gonna look that up. That's what I want to know. Just, you know,
who was Sadie Hawkins?
Yeah.
Maybe she was like, no, I'm gonna wait till you find the answer. I mean, because somebody has to be the first person to do it, right? To defy social norms.
Well, apparently November 13th is National Sadie Hawkins Day. So, you know, it's coming up.
Interesting.
So it's a week away. Okay, but why is it called that? So it's named after a character from a comic strip called Lil Abner. And Sadie Hawkins was a daughter of a rich man in the story.
That's interesting.
But I still don't understand why it's called Sadie Hawkins. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Maybe something happened in the comic.
Yeah, I can't figure that out. Okay. Anyway.
Which was your, you know, not to make it weird because of age differences and stuff, but like, which was your favorite love interest in this story?
Probably the last one, whose name I can't remember. Oh, Orion. I don't like his name, but I like his personality. Because it was like the thing about like, especially what you said about how the astronomy like date idea, and he was like very genuine, and he was like, "That's such a great date idea." I'm like, all right. I didn't like the guy in the first one because he seemed to be like a snob, like a smart snob, and I didn't like that part. That's how you know he's the love interest.
I think I feel like all the names were interesting in the collection.
Oh, Oni and True. True wasn't even her name though.
No, her name was Arya. There was like a whole exchange because she thought she was named True because she told somebody they smelled, like she told her dad's colleague who had
I
bad
remember
breath.
that, but still, it was just like Arya. True.
But that story was cute. That her parents were like,
Yeah.
"No, you're the perfect mixture of our true love."
Mm-hmm. As they're hiding from the party and watching a movie.
I'm glad that like everybody had their happy ending.
I feel like it's harder to talk about this because it ended up being novellas and not like one
full story.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we can just go to like not necessarily book specific, but using the themes in the book to talk about more general things. So like if love potions actually existed, would you ever consider using one? And let's think about the love potions both in like the more traditional sense where it forces someone to fall in love with you, and also in this sense where it's just like, you know, more of a
look at you thinking of the tough questions. These are questions that I would never think to like bring up in book club. I don't know why. What did you rate this, by the way? You never said.
I kind of feel like 3.5.
Same. That's what I rated it. Because I'm like, okay, I like the first one. That's probably 4. I like the last one. That's also probably a 4. But the one in the middle is probably like a 3. It's close enough.
Yeah, 3.5 feels good. Because for me, I think 4 is where I start like actually recommending books to people. Mm-hmm. And not to say that I like if someone had mentioned, oh, I like witchy books and I like YA, and like, you know, maybe I'd recommend it, but I'm not like running out there to recommend it to people. I'm not like, you have to read this.
Exactly.
But so to answer my own question, I would probably never want to force someone to fall in love with me, so I don't think I would use the more traditional love potion. But you know, if there's already like something clicking and happening.
Yeah, I agree, because that's how I like that they did this love potion. But they weren't even sure if it was going to work. So yeah. I like that more. Enhance what's already there.
Yeah, but I also like that, you know, the adults seemed to have good love relationships in the book. I don't know, maybe it's just life getting me down now, but I feel like every other day I'm hearing about a couple getting divorced or breaking up, or and the idealist in me is just sad. Gets sad when I hear about people breaking up.
This is basically like because I just finished The Kiss Curse by Aaron Sterling. So it's like if you like that and you like the X-Hex, but you also like YA, you can read this. So if you need a book like that without the sex.
I was actually going to mention that's how I think I liked this one just a little bit better than the X-Hex. Yeah. Just a little bit, because I think I rated the X-Hex like 3 stars.
I gave it, what did I think I gave it a 4.5. I gave the Kiss Curse a 5. I really liked it.
Is it the same characters?
Or... it follows the cousin.
Okay.
It's good. I gotta see what I rated the XX now. And there's gonna be a third book in that series.
I'm also trying to figure out if I like, because in my mind, I feel like I like witchy books. And I know growing up, I used to love watching Bewitched and stuff like that. So, I feel like there's a lot of witchy books that have been coming out recently.
Yes. I was gonna say, I feel like it depends on the what's the vibe. Is what I'm trying to say. Because now that we're headed, I mean, we still have Thanksgiving, but we're headed towards Christmas. That means I'm going to break out into holidays again, and I'm going to read that. So it's all about the vibe.
I can see that. Interestingly, for my other book club, the CEO of the book club read this witchy book and fell in love with it so much that she is not even giving us a choice in December. And because we usually get to vote, but she loved this book so much, she was like, no, this is what we're reading in December. So we're reading a witchy book in December. And
you're like, this is not the Christmas vibe I wanted.
It doesn't feel like it's going to be a Christmas vibe, but apparently it was really, really good. It was something, I think it's called like The Witches of Moonshine Manor. That's what it's called.
I'm gonna look it up. You can always reread holidays with me. That's gonna be a tradition now.
That one was like, okay. That one I really enjoyed, but that one felt like rough reading. Like I felt like I was all over the place, and you kind of don't know what's going to happen because the day keeps playing over and over and over and over again.
So good. Like one of my favorite Christina Lauren books.
It's funny. Maybe. I'm trying to think if I read that with my eyes or if I read that like by audiobook last time.
I think I've done both. I think the first time I read it with my eyes, and then the second time I listened to the audiobook. Probably just listen to the audiobook again. I don't know.
I think if like, would you read anything else like collaboratively by these three authors?
Probably like, it would depend on what it is. Because I mean, Evelyn Skye and Rashawn Chokshi, I think, write very similarly. But Sonja Menon is the one that is the wild card of this one, where she writes like almost exclusively contemporary, almost exclusively some sort of romance. I mean, she's got her what is it called? Her Rosetta Academy series. But even then, it still has contemporary vibes throughout the whole thing. So it would depend on what they're doing. That's probably why they brought her in for this, because she writes romances.
That's cool. I definitely want to check out like their other stuff. And yeah, I'm glad I was able to kind of like get a taste of everyone's writing.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to add.
I was going to say, do we have anything else we want to talk about, or now we've learned? No.
I mean, I feel like we were sort of tricked, but
yes, I didn't know.
But I'm still glad. I'm still glad I read it.
I would have read it regardless. I'm just glad I was able to squeeze it in like right before Halloween.
Yeah, I finished it today. So
I know, because I texted you yesterday and you're like, well.
And like John wanted me to go visit one of his friends today with him, and I was like,
you're like, hey, but
I gotta finish this book. Yeah, I was like, I gotta finish this book. So, but we drove all the way out to Kissimmee, so that was good. Audiobook time.
And I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna. If I don't know, Kat and I are gonna listen to something in the car or not. We'll see.
Do you want to do final thoughts, and then we can briefly talk about what we're reading next time?
Final thoughts. I gave it 3.5 stars. I liked the first story and the last story. The middle one was just for me. I'm happy that I read it, even though it's not like my favorite thing. And yeah, I'm just happy that Sandhya Menon's like writing and releasing things, because she's kind of like MIA on social media right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is she like what's your average rating for her stuff?
I think a lot of her stuff is like a 4 and up. Let me take a look. Uh, 5, 4, 5, 5, 4, 5, and that's all I can see. So a lot of 4s and 5s.
Okay. And I assume just like that last story, it's just easy to read.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I like her Rosetta Academy series, because they're retellings, but they're like contemporary retellings.
Oh. I didn't know that's what those were. What is like, you've read 2 of them? There's 2 of them out, or there's more than that?
There's 2 out. The first one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. The second one is the Princess and the Frog retelling. The third one is supposed to be Sleeping Beauty, I think, and I don't know if there's going to be more beyond that one.
Okay. So, similarly to Chloe, I think my favorite stories of the 3 were the first one and the third one. I still enjoyed the second one. It felt just very different. I don't know if it was so different because of how shy and introverted the main character was, or if it was different because it was from a boy's perspective versus 2 females' perspective. I don't know, but it definitely had like the tone was just a little bit different in that middle story. But I also give it 3.5. And if you like Halloween vibes and witchy stuff, love potions and things, and you enjoy YA, then I would say pick it up. In our next quarter, and I should have grabbed the book, but I didn't. In our next quarter, we're going to be reading Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. And let's see, I have the synopsis pulled up, so let me just share that. It says, PhD candidate Phoebe Walsh has always been obsessed with true crime, and she's even analyzing the genre in her dissertation, if she can manage to finish writing it. It's hard to find time while she spends the summer in Florida cleaning out her childhood home, dealing with her obnoxiously good-natured younger brother, and grappling with the complicated feelings of mourning a father she hadn't had a relationship with for years. It doesn't help that she's low-key convinced that her new neighbor Sam Dennings is a serial killer. He may dress business casual by day, but at night he's clearly up to something. It's not long before Phoebe realizes that Sam might be much scarier, a genuinely nice guy who can pierce her armor to reach her vulnerable heart.
You know, I am really like, I didn't think about it when we picked this, but I'm worried it's going to be on the Goodreads Choice Awards. And I'm trying to read all of them too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, I was hoping it would be in the mystery category, but it doesn't really sound like a mystery, so might have to read it twice.
No, I mean, read it twice, read it early. It depends. I guess it depends on how much you like it.
Yeah, I know, right? Because if I read it early, I'm gonna forget everything. When did that might be on our spreadsheet. I was gonna say, I can't remember if our live show was in like February or.
I think, yeah, because of your wedding, I think you wanted to make it in February. Or we were going to make it in February anyway.
We were going to make it February anyway, but I think it depends on what time in February. Let's see, BookTube checks.
I think it was like still TBA.
Yeah, it was still to be determined. All I know is it has to be. The earliest that it could be is, I don't know. don't know.
We'll figure it out and we'll let you
Yeah.
guys know. If you aren't already following us on, well, shit.
On Twitter.
Twitter's been doing things.
I know.
Twitter has a whole new life now. But yeah, we are Quarterly Romance. Are we Quarterly Romance?
Follow us at Quarter Romance.
Quarter Romance. Thank you.
Why don't we have Quarterly Romance?
I think that might have been too many letters.
Oh, I was gonna say I want to mess with it for a second, but no, never mind.
Yes, we are Quarter Romance on Twitter. So you can follow us there and we will let you know when our next live show date is going to be, or you can subscribe to this channel because I will set up the live stream as soon as I can, as soon as we know what the date is.
If you're going to be at Y'all Fest next weekend, so will we.
We will also be at Y'all Fest. Yes. Looking forward to that and to seeing some authors. All right, everyone. If you've hung out this far, let us know what you thought of 3 Kisses, 1 Midnight. And thank you for joining us. And hopefully we'll see you next time. So, bye.